Right, I actually see this the other day reported in The Sun, but wanted to wait a few days to cover it because I expected the BBC would avoid it like the bubonic plague. And guess what? That is exactly what they did. Even Breitbart in the US have picked up on it, but the national broadcaster here refuses to cover the fact that the government loses migrants like the BBC employed left-wing whiny tosspots. But to be honest, we all know the BBC and government scrutiny ends the moment the topic is on something other than Brexit, as we see with my recent videos showing the BBC radio interviews from Sir Charles Walker and Desmond Swain. In them, they literally run damage control 2 days in a row for Boris Johnson against his own MPs over the Tier 4 rules. But like I said, we know that the BBC run damage control for the government on migration, mostly rapey Pakistani gangs, and generally anything Naz Shah would tell people to shut up for the sake of diversity over. Them losing 37 imported Labour voters, scientists, doctors and engineers is clearly not something the BBC feels the people of this country should know. But in all honesty, if the government claims they have lost 37,000 illegal immigrants, then the real figure is probably 10 times more, if not 100 times more, I think. It would not surprise me in the slightest if Boris Johnson got Diane Abbott to do the maths on them numbers. He has gone that far left this year, it is possible if you ask me. But anyway, like I said, Breitbart covered this most recently, so let's have a butcher's at that. It headlines: 37,000 migrants lost after skipping bail or fleeing detention centres. So they haven't just lost the odd migrant here and there, they've lost 37,000 of them, some of which are on bail for no doubt committing crimes. You might remember the video I covered a couple of weeks back of the two that got done for being mostly rapey scumbags in the local Penley area, who were then shipped off to the other camp and left there where they could just walk in and out. I will put the video up on the screen for you to see. I am now expecting that those two have probably done a runner, it would seem, escaping the law and just blending in with the rest of these motherfuckers around the country. Like I said, if the government claim they've lost 37,000, the numbers are going to be a hell of a lot higher. It says the British government has lost track of over 37,000 migrants after they skipped bail or absconded from detention centres, a Freedom of Information request has revealed. Anyone with half a brain cell probably could have come to that conclusion on their own. They didn't need a Freedom of Information request. Home Office figures revealed that the majority of the migrants are classified as in-country absconders after having failed to report to immigration officials or simply escaped from detention centres. It's hardly a fucking detention centre if they can just walk in and out and escape as they have done. An estimated 134 are categorised as port absconders, meaning that they evaded border controls in order to enter the UK. In other words, a bunch of boat wankers. The Home Office failure means that the group of migrants equivalent to the entire population as Britain's towns such as Redcar in North Yorkshire or Leighton Buzzard in Bedfordshire is now missing. In response to the figures, Migration Watch chairman Alf Mehmet said, "This is a shocking failure. No, it's not really shocking, it's kind of what I expected. The only shocking thing about it is that they've blatantly lied about the numbers because like I said, it should be 10 or 100 times higher." He goes on though, "It is ridiculous to intercept those crossing the channel illegally or after they emerge from the back of lorries only to turn them loose to disappear into the undergrowth of the shadow economy. No, I expect they'll just be working somewhere down in your local shop or something like that. Possibly even raping your daughter if they get the chance, so make sure you keep them on a short leash at the moment." He continues though, "It simply makes it easier for potential absconders. This gap in the immigration control can easily be plugged with more effective enforcement and better use of detention. Yeah, actually detaining them might be a good start, if only the political will were there to do it." Well, good luck on that one, because it seems Boris Johnson doesn't even have the political will to take down the BBC, despite all the big talk last year before he was getting elected, literally showing himself to be the ultimate snivelling shitweasel at this point. It says though the data release comes as 8 supposed asylum seekers disappeared from the makeshift migrant camp at Napier Barracks in Folkestone last week. I think you'll find it was actually more like 30 of them in the end. But yeah, 8 or 30, who's even counting at the moment when apparently 37,000 have already gone missing. It says the barracks were converted in September to house some 400 migrants as the system was overwhelmed by record numbers of illegal boat migrants pouring across the English Channel, with nearly 9,000 illegal landings recorded since the beginning of last year. Yeah, but that wasn't really the reason, was it? The reason why they had moved them to these camps was because they got caught putting them in hotels around the country, called out for it, and they realised that was a shit show waiting to happen. So they then thought that the Penley camp and Napier Barracks would be a better idea. Obviously, they've been raked over the coals for that as well. We all know what they should be doing, but let's be honest, this government is never going to fucking do it. It goes on, in November, footage shared on social media showed a gang of migrants in the camp attempting to break down the base's barricades. And it even says while the migrants are not required by law to remain in the detention centre, they must inform immigration officials about their whereabouts and their new home address. Oh, so they can just leave and move into a new house and then all of a sudden they just have to tell immigration. How the fuck is this a thing? Surely, if you enter the country illegally, you shouldn't be allowed to just move in with someone who might well take you in. What the fuck is going on here? The Conservative MP for Folkestone and Hythe, Damien Collins, said at the time, "I am extremely concerned that since September, 8 asylum seekers have disappeared from their barracks. The current location unknown and their applications presumably suspended." Yeah, I don't think that really matters at the end of the day. They shouldn't even fucking be here, let's be honest. He finishes up with, "The number of asylum seekers that have already left the camp raises serious questions about the security of the Napier Barracks facility. No, the facility is secure and could be if they stop letting them just walk in and out. That is obviously on the fucking Home Office." And here, as I said, it shows that these numbers are absolute bullshit anyway. It's a hell of a lot more than 37,000, let me tell you. Responding to the 37,000 missing migrants, a Home Office spokesman said, "While even one absconder is unacceptable, this is historic data that covers a period of over 30 years, and many of these individuals have likely left the country." No, I highly doubt they have left the country. They have probably been living here for 30 or 40 years, let's be honest. But at the end of the day, if this is covering 30 or 40 years, then I expect it is well out of date and nowhere near the accurate numbers like I said. Add 10 or 20, 50, 100 times, add whatever number you want to it, and you might well be closer to the number that it should be. It says further down, a July report from the National Audit Office revealed that the government does not have a clear picture of the total number of illegal aliens residing in the country, with estimates claiming that as many as 1.2 million illegals may be loose in the UK. Try maybe 3 or 4 million if you ask me. That is how many I think it's likely to be. We all know the government's figures are absolutely piss poor. When they say there's 250,000 people coming into the country, what they mean is there's more like 500,000. I think as this year has shown, governments literally don't know their arsehole from their earhole, and politicians lack the ability to be able to do anything. Perhaps it's because they haven't lived a real life like the rest of us. But one thing is for sure, they are certainly fucking up the country, and this illegal immigration bollocks and losing them is certainly not going to help. In actual fact, it will make it a clusterfuck even quicker.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.